If you're here for this deep dive, you're probably the kind of person who likes to just dive in and learn, rather than getting stuck in a textbook.
Right.
So today we're going to try to help you sound more natural in English, almost like you were born speaking it.
Okay.
We'll be exploring some key phrases from a podcast called English Mastery Talks.
Okay.
It's not a full-on language course, but they focus on these expressions that, native speakers use all the time. What's really cool about this deep dive, though, is we're going to uncover some surprising origins and meanings.
Oh, yeah.
Even native speakers might not know about some of this stuff.
It's true.
It's so easy to just use these phrases without, thinking about where they come from or all the little cultural things they carry.
Yeah.
So the first phrase they talk about is the classic, "What's up?"
Oh, yeah.
Seems so simple, right?
Yeah.
But, there's more to it than you think at first.
Right.
I mean, we don't really want to hear about someone's whole day when we ask that, do we?
No, not at all.
Not really. It's more like,
In a lot of languages, a greeting like that would mean you got to give a real answer.
oh, interesting.
But in English, it's more of a social ritual.
Ah, okay.
What's up is just like a friendly way to acknowledge someone,
Yeah.
a way to start talking without being too direct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So is that kind of like how English can be kind of indirect compared to other languages?
Exactly.
It's all about easing into the conversation, being polite.
Exactly, yeah.
So we're all just doing this intricate dance of social cues.
That's a good way to put it.
Speaking of phrases that bend the rules, let's talk about long time no see.
Oh, yeah.
Grammatically, it's all over the place.
It is. It really is.
But that's kind of the cool thing about language, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't always follow the rules. It evolves as people use it. And using a phrase like this, it shows you're comfortable with the informal side of English.
Right.
It's like a secret handshake for fluent speakers.
Like
It makes you sound more natural, not less. Okay, so for anyone who's ever been running behind, there's the trusty phrase, better late than never.
Oh, for sure.
I've definitely used this one myself a time or two.
It's a lifesaver in those awkward moments when you show up late.
Totally.
Acknowledges you messed up, but still puts a positive spin on it.
Exactly.
You made it eventually.
Yeah.
And that's what counts, right?
That's what counts.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, is this focus on politeness a particularly English thing?
That's a good question.
Do other languages have similar expressions to kind of smooth over those potentially awkward situations?
Well, lots of languages have ways to talk about being late or to apologize.
Right.
But this emphasis on the positive, like better late than never, that could be a cultural nuance in English.
Yeah, that's something to think about.
It is.
Okay, get ready for this next one.
Okay.
This might leave some English learners scratching their heads. Break a leg!
Uh-huh.
I remember the first time I heard that, I thought, uh-oh, is this person wishing me bad luck?
Yeah, it does seem a little counterintuitive, doesn't it?
For sure.
But the main theory about where it comes from points to, theater superstition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so directly wishing someone good luck, that was actually thought to bring bad luck.
Oh, wow.
So they started saying break a leg instead.
Wow. So it's like reverse psychology.
Exactly. It's all rooted in superstition.
And now that I know that, wouldn't it be even more confusing if someone said it seriously?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What if they didn't know the origin?
Yeah, it shows how important context is.
Right.
For someone who doesn't know the saying, it could be really awkward.
Absolutely.
But for those who do know, it's kind of funny. There's a sense of camaraderie.
It's like an inside joke among English speakers.
Kind of, yeah.
Now, let's shift gears to a phrase that might seem simple at first, but has some interesting implications. Call it a day. We use this when we're done working, right?
Right.
But is there more to it than that?
Well, yeah, on the surface, it's simple.
Yeah.
But it reveals something about, our work culture.
Okay.
By saying call it a day, we're implying a separation between work time and personal time.
Right.
And that distinction might not be as clear in other cultures.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like we're drawing a line in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Work is over. For now.
Right, yeah.
But could you call it a day on things besides just work?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, could I call it a day on a hobby that's frustrating me or even a tough conversation?
Yeah, definitely. You can use it for all sorts of situations.
Huh.
It just means you're making a conscious decision to stop.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's because you're frustrated, exhausted, or just feel like you're done.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way before.
Yeah, and that's what's great about these deep dives, right?
Yeah.
We uncover all these hidden layers of meaning in the everyday language we use.
Totally. Wow, it really is amazing how much we can learn from just a handful of phrases, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
We've already talked about culture and subtle communication styles, and we're just getting started.
Right.
So what other gems did English Mastery Talks dig up?
Well, there's one that I thought was interesting. Piece of cake.
Oh, yeah, like when you say that exam was a piece of cake.
Exactly.
But why cake? What's the connection there?
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
It probably comes from way back in the late 1800s.
Oh, wow.
Maybe from competitions where they'd give out cakes as prizes.
Interesting.
So winning a cake, that seemed like an easy thing to do.
Right.
Hence the association with effortlessness.
Ah, so it's like saying something is as easy as winning a cakewalk.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of funny how a phrase from over 100 years ago is still so common today.
It is. It speaks to how language changes and adapts over time.
Yeah.
But those historical roots, they're still there if you look for them.
Okay, this next one is a phrase I use all the time, but I've never really thought about the picture it paints. Get out of hand.
No.
It's for when a situation becomes chaotic or unmanageable.
Right. It's a very visual phrase.
It is, yeah.
Like, imagine something literally slipping out of your hand. You lose control.
So it's not just that things are messy, it's specifically about that loss of control.
Exactly.
Like trying to hold on to, I don't know, a wild animal or something.
Yeah, a wild animal that wants to get away.
And it's interesting that we use this physical metaphor, you know, to describe something abstract like chaos. It says a lot about how our minds connect the concrete and the abstract.
Yeah, like our language is built on our physical experiences.
Even when we're describing things we can't actually touch.
Right. That's a really insightful observation.
Thanks.
Language is more than just words. You
Yeah.
know? It reflects how we see the world around us.
Okay, this next one always makes me smile. Hang in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a simple phrase, but it's a really powerful way to encourage someone who's struggling.
It is powerful. It evokes this sense of resilience,
Yeah.
like clinging on even when things are tough.
I always picture someone hanging onto a cliff, you know, refusing to let go.
Yeah.
It's about being determined, not giving up.
And what's great about it is it doesn't try to offer a solution.
Right.
It just acknowledges that things are hard
Yeah.
and encourages you to keep going.
Sometimes that's all you need to hear.
Exactly. It's like this quiet affirmation of strength.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one is so versatile. No way.
Oh, yeah. No way.
You can use it for disbelief, excitement, or even just to refuse something outright.
It all depends on how you say it.
Totally. The tone of voice makes all the difference.
A surprised no way is completely different from a defiant no way.
Yeah, it's like there's a secret code within the phrase itself.
That's a good way to put it.
That's what makes learning English so interesting.
Mhm.
It's not just about the words themselves, but how you use them. It's the context, the intonation, all those little nuances.
Right, they add so many layers of meaning.
Okay, before we move on to the next batch of phrases, let's do a quick recap.
Okay.
We've talked about piece of cake, get out of hand, hang in there, and no way. And each one has given us a little peek into the culture and the psychology behind English.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we can learn from phrases we use every day without even thinking about it.
They're like little windows into the history and evolution of the language.
I like that.
Okay, ready for some more?
Let's do it.
This next one caught my eye. Hit the books.
Oh?
It means to study, but why hit the books?
Yeah.
Sounds kind of aggressive.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There are a few theories about where it comes from.
Oh, okay.
One is that it comes from literally slapping a book
Huh.
to knock the dust off.
Yeah.
Or maybe get rid of bugs.
So it's like physically engaging with your studies.
Yeah, almost like a workout.
Another theory is that it comes from boxing.
Right, where hitting means punching your opponent.
Oh, okay.
So hitting the books would imply the same kind of intensity and focus you need when you're studying.
Oh, wow, so it's about really tackling your studies head on.
Exactly.
Whether you're fighting dust, bugs, or tough concepts, hit the books captures that sense of really digging in.
Yeah, it definitely paints a vivid picture.
Okay, moving on to another common phrase. Figure something out.
Okay.
We say this all the time.
We do.
But when you really think about it, it's a pretty metaphorical expression.
It is.
We're not literally figuring something out like we would a math problem, are we?
Right. It's more about using our brains to solve a problem or understand something.
Right.
Yes.
Like putting a puzzle together,
Yeah.
trying to see the big picture.
Exactly. And the fact that we use this visual metaphor suggests that for us, problem solving is like connecting different pieces of information.
Yeah.
Much like fitting puzzle pieces together.
So our language is reflecting our thought processes.
It really is.
That's so cool.
These phrases, they go so much deeper than you might think.
2 more phrases from English Mastery Talks before we wrap things up.
Right.
First, keep an eye on something. Seems pretty straightforward, means to watch something carefully.
Right.
But it's interesting that we use the word eye specifically. We could say keep watch or pay attention. But eye adds this visual element.
It does.
That's like really focusing your gaze, almost like a hawk watching its prey.
Yeah, it emphasizes that close observation.
And then the last phrase, learn the ropes. This is often used to describe learning a new skill or job,
Right.
but it literally refers to ropes, right?
It does. It comes from nautical terminology.
Ah, that's right. Sailors had to learn how to handle all the ropes on a ship.
Exactly.
So it's like a metaphor for navigating the complexities of a new situation or task.
Yeah, like we're all sailors on the ship of life.
Learning the ropes as we go.
I love that.
This deep dive has really been an amazing journey through the world of English phrases.
It has.
From hit the books to learn the ropes, we've uncovered so much about the history, the meaning, even the thought processes behind these everyday expressions.
It's like we've been peeling back the layers of an onion.
Revealing more and more depth with each phrase.
And the best part is, this journey of discovery is just beginning.
There are so many other phrases out there waiting to be explored.
Exactly. Each one with its own unique story to tell.
So for all of you listening, keep your ears open, stay curious, and never stop exploring the world of English phrases.
You never know what you might discover.
All right, let's dive back into English Mastery Talks and see what other treasures we can unearth.
Sounds good. I'm especially intrigued by the phrase, get your act together.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's often used to express frustration with someone who's being disorganized or not getting things done.
It's kind of like tough love, right?
Yeah, like saying, come on, pull yourself together and get to work.
Exactly.
And it's interesting how it uses the metaphor of a theatrical performance.
Oh yeah.
Like getting your act together means you need to rehearse, prepare, and deliver a polished performance in life.
So it's like saying life is a stage and we all have to make sure our act is top notch.
Kinda. Yeah.
But isn't that a lot of pressure?
Good point.
To always be on and performing.
It does seem to reflect a cultural emphasis on achievement and presentation.
Right.
It's worth thinking about,
Yeah.
is there a balance between striving for excellence and just allowing ourselves to be imperfect?
That's a really thought-provoking question.
It is.
Okay, on to a phrase with a lighter feel. Steal the show.
Okay.
This is for someone who grabs all the attention, usually by outperforming everyone else.
Right, like the breakout star of a movie
Yeah.
or the player who scores the winning goal.
They just captivate the audience and leave a lasting impression.
Exactly.
It's interesting how it uses this metaphor of theft.
Yeah.
Stealing the show means you're taking something that wasn't really yours,
Mm-hmm.
but you do it so well that no one can really blame you.
Right. It suggests a mix of talent, charisma, and maybe a little bit of boldness.
It's like they've earned the spotlight through their sheer brilliance.
I like that.
2 more phrases to explore before we wrap things up.
Sure.
First up, go with the flow. This basically means to be adaptable and flexible, right?
Exactly. But notice the water metaphor there.
Oh, yeah.
Going with the flow.
Uh-huh.
Evokes this sense of fluidity.
Uh-huh.
Like accepting the natural course of events instead of fighting against them.
It's like being a leaf on a stream, just letting the current carry you along.
Beautiful imagery.
It encourages this sense of surrender and acceptance.
Yeah, it's just being open to change.
Yeah.
Adapting to new situations instead of resisting.
It's a good reminder that sometimes letting go can lead to amazing, unexpected places.
I agree.
Okay, last one. The ball is in your court.
Ah, classic.
It's often used in negotiations or decision-making.
It is, and it comes from the world of sports, as you might have guessed.
Right, it's like saying, okay, it's your turn to make a move.
Exactly. It's a clear way to signal that the responsibility has shifted.
It's amazing how these metaphors from sports, theater, and even nature become part of our everyday language.
It is fascinating.
We've gone from what's up to the ball is in your court. And we've found so many hidden meanings, cultural insights, and linguistic gems along the way.
It's been an incredible journey.
It really has.
And we've seen how these seemingly simple phrases offer a glimpse into the history, the psychology, and the values that have shaped English.
So as we wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive, I want to leave you with a challenge.
I love a good challenge.
Okay, here it is. Pay attention to the phrases you use in your everyday conversations. Think about where they came from, what they really mean, and the cultural values they might reflect.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you uncover. It's like we're all amateur linguists now.
Exactly. Always learning.
Okay, so I think we've covered a really impressive range of phrases today.
We have, yeah, from the super casual what's up to the more, decisive the ball is in your court.
It's true. We've explored all these hidden depths and fascinating origins of, some of the most common expressions in English.
And it's been so fun, like a real journey of discovery.
It has been.
We went into history, culture, psychology, even, nautical terms.
That's right. We did it all.
Yeah.
I hope this deep dive has given you a new appreciation for how rich and complex English really is.
I think it has. For sure. And remember, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
There are tons of other phrases out there.
Oh, yeah.
Each one with its own story waiting to be uncovered.
So, to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop being curious about the world of language.
Absolutely. You never know what you'll find.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive into essential English phrases.
Wow, we really unpacked a lot.
We did, and I bet our listener has tons to think about now.
For sure, lots to explore further.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Deep Dive.
It's been fun.
Until next time, happy language learning.